Everyone dreams of being fitter, smarter, or more successful, but we often fail because our goals are too big. The solution? Small, sustainable changes. In this video, I will show you James Clear's 1% method and how you can completely change your life with tiny habits. Let's get started. Most people set huge goals and fail. Why? Because we see changes as something big. The truth is, success comes from tiny improvements. Imagine getting just 1% better every day. It doesn't sound like much, but in a year, you will be 37 times better than you are today. Even a small course correction can drastically change your future. It's like an airplane. If it changes direction even slightly before takeoff, it ends up in a completely different country. But the key is to consistently implement these small changes. The biggest mistake? Focusing only on the goal. Instead, you should ask yourself, who do I want to be? If you see yourself as an athlete, you will train. If you see yourself as a healthy person, you will eat better. It's not about the goal, it's about the identity you adopt. Identity creates behavior. So start seeing yourself as the person you want to become. After a certain amount of time, the intrinsic reward will kick in and you will simply be doing something that fits your personality. But how do you really make a new habit stick? It's not as difficult as you think. There are 4 big rules that will take you a long way. Rule number 1. A habit must be obvious. If you want to establish a new habit, make it visible. Our brain responds to visual stimuli. If you want to read more, put your book on the table where it's visible. If you want to eat healthier, place fruit within easy reach. Make it easy for yourself to make the right decision. Because if you win many small battles, you will have won a whole battle in the end. Here, it's especially important to pay attention to the trigger. With the principle of habit coupling, you connect existing routines with new ones you want to introduce. For example, read a little every day after breakfast. The trigger for reading here is the previous breakfast. Rule number 2. A habit must be attractive. If something is fun, you will stick with it. Combine your new habit with something you love. Example, if you want to motivate yourself to exercise, listen to your favorite music only during your workout. This way, your brain will associate the habit with something positive. This tactic is called need combination. You connect something you have to do with things you want to do. In this case, it was exercising, because that should be something you strive for. The principle behind the second rule is, a good habit must be fun and motivating. This will be difficult at first, because you pay for a good habit in the present, but you get amazing results in the future. Today's pain will be your strength for tomorrow. Rule number 3. A habit must be simple. As we know, it's sometimes hard to stick with it. The simpler a habit is, the more likely you are to stick with it. Start with a mini version. Instead of reading for an hour, read just 1 page. Instead of doing 50 push-ups, start with 5. Small successes build momentum, and suddenly it becomes a routine. Because as you repeat a habit more and more, once you reach the so-called habit threshold, it becomes automatic. It requires less willpower and consideration. Our ancestors also benefited from the principle of simplicity. For example, they settled in places where they could best grow food for survival. In relation to today, it is also beneficial to design your environment so that your habits are easy for you. Swap the table of cookies on your table for a plate of fruit. It will no longer be so difficult for you to constantly remember to eat healthy fruit, since the plate of fruit is right in front of you. Rule number 4. A habit must be satisfying. Immediate rewards reinforce a habit. Our brain loves immediate success. Mark every successful day on a calendar or use a habit tracker. If you don't know how to set it up, just do it like me. Enter all the days of a month here. This is where your daily habit boxes go. I also left some space in between to note other successes. The biggest advantage of such a tracker lies in 3 advantages. First, you make your habit visually visible and you see what needs to be done every day. In other words, you create your own triggers for your habit. Second, this visible evidence of your progress makes it attractive to stick with it, as you will be motivated to fill in your empty boxes of a habit every day, which is why, third, you focus entirely on the process and not on the desired result. What also sometimes helps is turning it into a competition with friends. For example, you could see who had the best transformation after 4 months of training in the gym. Creating a sense of competition appeals to your ego and triggers your ambition to improve. So, to sum up, sometimes it's hard to remember a habit, so you have to make it obvious. Sometimes you don't feel like starting it, so it has to be attractive. In many cases, you will find that a habit is too difficult and you just have to make it work. Sometimes it's not so easy to stick with it, so the habit has to be satisfying. With all this discipline, you sometimes still ask yourself, what's the point? I hardly notice any improvement. The important thing is to endure the boredom of habits. Happiness can't be pursued. It has to happen, because the poor isn't the one who has too little, but the one who can't get enough. Success isn't one giant leap, but the result of many small steps. Start today, find a tiny 1% improvement and implant it. Bye.